It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. Great Flinders football getting to the business end of the season now. And I don't know about you, but I reckon we've got an exciting final round of matches to come. But the top four in the A grade is pretty much settled now on the back of a big upset on the weekend. Chris Prime joins me on the line. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Reed. Yes, the top fours are pretty much not quite in concrete, but they're fairly well set.
We're going to have a look through later on, grade by grade, as to what the final round of fixtures might bring us and where the final ladders could sit. But first, we need to have a look back to last weekend's round of matches, and the big upset that I mentioned was Lock, the Roos, 16-6-102, have secured their finals berth. They beat the Eagles, United Yolanda, 13-9-87. The Eagles have lost 3 games this year, 2 of them to the Roos. And at half-time, it looked as though Yolanda were going okay. They were 22 points up and cruising. Even at three-quarter time, they were still 22 points clear. But the Roos stormed home with 8-2 in the final term.
Yeah, look, Yolanda would have been thinking that they had the game for, 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters of the game. And, great finish by Lock. And it just sort of sets up that bit of a feeling coming into the finals and start of the belief. I know they've believed in themselves right through the year, but other people are looking around and saying, Lock's the real deal. So, yeah.
I'm a big believer that percentage tells a true tale of how a season has been for particular teams, and we'll look at that when we get to the A-grade ladder a bit later on. But Lock's percentage is very, very good for a team third on the ladder at the moment. So they're around the money, I reckon. That's a big win for the Lock boys. Beard booted 5, and that was a Beard. Travis Beard booted 3. So the Beard boys, between them booting 8, they were named in the best along with Blaze K. For the Eagles, Michael Crittenden booting 4, Luke Howie 3, Carr, Crittenden, Norton, Glover, the usual suspects named in the best for the Eagles, and they'll still be there when the whips are cracking during the finals. But we move on. Let's have a look at your boys next, Primey. Tumby Bay took on the top of the ladder Cougars and were far from disgraced, but in the end, Cougars just a bit too good. 15-12-102 to Tumby Bay 5-5-35.
You just weigh the numbers. Guys keep battling, but look, just not quite finishing it on the scoreboard. Will Nashville had another good game, but they're just probably lacking a couple of key players, Tumby. And look, they know their season. Well, season's not over, but it's playing not for finals, but just playing for pride. And every week they go out there and battle and just can't quite keep up with the top side. So, Cougars are just too good.
Yep. All right, Yowie Wagner booted 8 goals for Cougars on the weekend, taking his season tally to 82. So he's got a bit of work to do in that final minor round to get to the ton, but that's a good tally for him. Along with that, Ness booted 5. For Tumby, you mentioned Will Nankerville booted 2. Fair, Nankerville, James and Laurie named in your best. And Wright, Wanderer, the big ruckman going okay there, Pake, Ness and Hazelgrove. So they've got plenty of weapons, Cougars, that can hurt you. It's not just all the Yowie Wagner show.
Yeah, they do. One thing that does, as a full forward, does bother me is when a bloke kicks 8 and he doesn't make the best players. You normally have a decent day when you kick 8, and it has become expected. Like, we expect him to kick 8 or 10 or 12 or whatever it is. But it just, and maybe this is a bit of sad grapes on my behalf, but look, I reckon a bloke's kicking 8 or 9 and he might slip into the best players at 5th or 6th. Well, yeah, I think if you want to be honest about it, if a bloke's kicking 9, that's the difference between the two sides.
Couldn't agree more, Primey. I've been saying it for quite some time. The flow man's on board with that as well. At the end of the day, you've got to kick them between the big sticks to win games. So the final match of the round was Ramblers taking on Ayr United. And I tell you what, to Elliston Districts, The results didn't go their way while they were having the bye. They would have been barracking for Ayr United in this one. It wasn't to be. Ramblers 18-17, 125. Too good for the Saints, 4-11-35. And the 90-point margin will be very, very handy for Ramblers as well. It basically books their final spot. They won very comfortably.
Look, they did, but once again, Ayr United had enough of the ball, like 1-7 at half time. And I know some of their shots come from deeper in the pockets and under pressure and all that, but like we keep saying, good kicking's good footy, and there'll be one thing that they've read a few games where they've, haven't been kicking straight in front of goals. So that would have disappointed them, and I think their efforts there, once again, just minus a couple of cattle that can't keep up with the top sides.
Yeah. Kersley in their best, he booted 2. Forrest, Gale and Telfer also in the best. But for Ramblers, Cox booted 8, Micken 3, Haasma 3, so some roots to goal there. Cox, he was named in the best for Ramblers. Stoll, Buchanan, Mondra and Jesse Rule named in their best. So Ramblers gearing up for another finals run. And for mine now, I reckon the A-grade top 4 is basically set. There'd have to be a miracle for Elliston Districts this weekend to break into the top 4 now.
Yeah, look, I think you're right. There's 6% or nearly 7% difference between Elliston Districts and Ramblers, and I know they meet this week. And without looking at all the figures, I think they'd have to win by 70, 80 points at least to close that gap and get over the top. So I think the top 4 is set. It'll just be where they finally sit.
Well, I've had a bit of a close look at that, and we'll get to it in a moment. But we're going to do something a little bit different. Rather than go through the matches to come in depth, we're going to have a look at each grade and talk about the final round of matches and what needs to happen in terms of ladder positions and the like. So, first of all, let's have a look at the mini colts. Now, bearing in mind the fixtures for this round, Ramblers and Elliston Districts, Cummins, Kapini and Lock, Tumby Bay and Ayr United. The Eagles, United Ulana, have the bye. Now, if we look at the mini colts here at the moment, there is certainly some movement that can happen on this ladder, in particular 4th and 5th. So the final spot in the finals for the minis is certainly up for grabs. The rest of the top 4 is probably set in stone. Lock are still in with a mathematical chance, but they'd have to win this weekend, and that's open for them. But the reality is they need a draw to be any chance, and then they have to win by about 200 points. So Lock aren't going to make it. Elliston and Districts and Ramblers will play off for that final spot in the top 4, Primey.
It is. It's like an extended finals for these two sides this week. Elliston Districts, Ramblers, the winner of that in the mini colts will go into the 4. And if it's a draw, Ramblers will stay in.
That's right. So the rest of the 4 there, Tumby Bay undefeated on top of the ladder. Cougars are second on the ladder, 9-2. They will finish top 2. The Eagles not playing this weekend. They will finish in 3rd spot. Ramblers 4th at the moment. Elliston Districts 5th. Lock 6th. Ayr United 7th on the ladder, and they haven't had a win. That's not probably going to change this weekend. Senior Colts, let's move on to that now. You've got a fair idea of what's going on here. In fact, I think last week in the Senior Colts, your boys, the boys that you coach at Tumby Bay, may have beaten the previously undefeated side. Is that right?
That is right. I wasn't there, so I tendered my resignation at 1 o'clock on Saturday and got knocked back by the bloke who was doing the coaching. But look, they had a good win. Like, the boys played well, and it just sort of cements our 2nd spot. So they're pretty happy with that.
All right. Very familiar theme here with what's going on the ladder. So Lock is 6th on the ladder and a fair amount of percentage back. Cougars and Ramblers will finish top 2. Technically, Tumby Bay could knock Cougars off the top spot. They're only 2 premiership points behind, and there's not a lot of percentage there, but that would rely on other results going their way. The Saints, Ayr United, a good senior Colts season so far they're putting together. They will finish 3rd. That's locked in. But again, it's Ramblers and Elliston Districts playing off for that last spot in the finals, and the winner will claim it.
They will. Elliston Districts' percentage is better than Ramblers. They just have to get a win, and and they'll slip into the 4. So that'll be a hard one to pick because the under-16 sides do vary a lot. You know, you have one or two players that are playing senior footy and, they can make a massive difference to each side. So a very, very tight junior day for the Ellison Districts and Ramblers footy clubs.
All right. Let's move to the reserves ladder. And again here, most of it's relatively clear-cut. But first of all, Ramblers are minor premiers. That's not going to change. They're top, undefeated, 10 wins, no losses so far. Cougars currently second on the ladder, 7-4. Elliston Districts can claim that coveted second spot if results go their way and they have a win themselves over the top side Ramblers. But you'd think that's unlikely, but stranger things have happened. So they're third at the moment. This is where it gets interesting. Then we've got United Yolanda, Lock and Tumby Bay. They're all still in with a chance. So United Yolanda currently holding down fourth spot with a superior percentage to that of Lock. And Tumby Bay are a game back in sixth spot on the ladder, and they need a lot to go their way. You've got to pick up 5% and hope that Lock don't win. Obviously, the Eagles can't win because they're not playing this weekend, so you need Lock to lose, and you've got to pick up about 5 or 6 percentage points yourself.
Yeah, look, that's a pretty tough ask. Mathematically, it is possible. But, yeah, look, realistically, I think we probably will deserve to finish outside the 4, and I think that's where we'll be.
All right. E United bottom of the ladder there too, 1 win for the season. All right, and let's have a look now at the A-grade situation, and this is probably the most clear-cut competition of all, to be honest, because I reckon the 4 is basically set. Mathematics comes into it for Elliston Districts, but it's a very faint hope. So Cougars top of the ladder, they win the minor premiership. They are undefeated, 11 wins from 11 starts. The Eagles will finish second on the ladder. They're on 18 points. Lock, Ramblers, they're both locked together, pardon the pun, on 12 premiership points. And then Elliston Districts outside the top 4 right now on 10 premiership points. Now, in terms of percentage, Primey, to put this into a points perspective, Elliston Districts will play Ramblers this weekend. There's no way they can catch Lock. Lock are, I believe, 14 percentage points clear. Equates to around about 400 points. Now, I know Lock play Cougars, so if Cougars would have beat them by a very big margin, it still wouldn't be enough. Elliston Districts have to beat Ramblers by around about 110 points. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, look, I think that's a pretty big ask. I think even a 10-goal win would be a big ask. So, it's pretty well set. It's like the B grade. Like, mathematically, it's possible, and you go out there with that belief. But in reality, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, so a 20-goal win for Elliston Districts over Ramblers simply is not going to happen. They may well win Elliston Districts. They may well win the game, but I can't see them beating Ramblers by that margin. So for mine, the top 4 looks basically set.
Yeah, it is, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. Not that I like being wrong, but yeah, look, I just think it's set, and we'll roll into finals with the 4s we've got.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look at the A-grade matches and just we'll get your tips on them. Regardless of ladder positions now, they don't really matter. Let's have a look at the games that will be played. At Cummins, Ramblers take on Elliston Districts, as we mentioned. For mine, it's Elliston Districts' last game of a pretty successful inaugural season for them. But can they finish the season on a high, or will Ramblers get over the top of them?
No, Ramblers will win.
Yeah, okay, well, that'll put it to bed. Cougars will take on Lock. All of a sudden, this game takes on some new meaning, but I don't know that either of these sides will be going at full guns blazing. It's at Kipenny, by the way, and Cougars should probably win and keep their undefeated season going.
Look, I would think so, and I guess the thing would be this time of year, if there's anyone that's a bit sore or a bit, so you're not feeling 100%, they probably rest them coming into the finals, but yeah, Cougars will win.
And then the local rivalry to the east, Tumby Bay taking on Ayr United. It's grand final day for both of these sides. It's at Tumby Bay, so I'm sure you'll enjoy the afternoon, and there'll be plenty of camaraderie off the field, but on it, should be red-hot footy. You guys have got not much to lose.
Yeah, look, I don't think we do, but yeah, look, it's always a tough battle against Ayr United. They always grow an extra leg to say when they play us, so we should have a win, and yeah, look, I think that's the way it will go, but I think it'll be a tough battle for 3 quarters.
Anything else, mate, before we wrap it up?
No, just good luck to everyone, and obviously as we head into the finals, good luck to everyone playing, and commiserations to those who miss out, but you know that's the way it goes sometimes.
That's it. We'll leave it there, mate. All the best for the weekend. We'll catch up with you again next week, and all the best.
All right, thanks, Rick.